Hello, and welcome to the Fit Over 40 Challenge Show, the number one health and fitness show for those of us in the club. Yes, that's right, the 40 and Over Club. My name is Coach Dave, and I'm going to be your coach and your host today. Super excited to bring you another edition and episode here. And the title today is going to be Get Inspired. Here's how they did it. Before I do that, I just wanted to say, for those of you that stick around to the end, I've got something for you that hopefully will get you started in your journey if you're looking for that extra boost or that what I call jump start. So at the end of the show, I'm going to go ahead and give you the destination on the site, Fit Over 40 Challenge, that you can go and find this. So hopefully you'll stick around. Again, thanks again for everybody for all the reviews and all the support. Without it, this show doesn't happen. So thank you again for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And, there's nothing quite, to me, as inspiring as a truly jaw-dropping before and after picture. I know a lot of people don't like to take those before pictures and after pictures, but when you do a transformation challenge and you see that weight loss that's significant, and I'm talking like, somebody who's lost, 50 pounds or more, it's just amazing. And sometimes even the people that go through these transformations, they don't even recognize who that other person was. And I've seen it just recently in the last couple months with some people that I follow and stuff like that and work out with. So it's just something that, it gets you really inspired, okay? And it's striking how much like younger a person will look, how much more energetic. And also what comes with it is a feeling of happiness and attractiveness. And, the thing was, it was always inside of them. They just had to do it. And, you'll see a lot of magazines out there that showcase these transformation success stories, especially at the beginning of this year. We're now, as of this recording, 2 months past that January, New Year's Eve, time period where you're seeing all the stuff. So it's starting to filter or starting to slow down. But again, if you were to flip through those before and after photos, it's hard not to feel inspired to make healthy changes, And it's also interesting if you were to read how each person managed to lose all the weight and see what their exercise routine and what diet they did. The truth is that there are many routines and plans that bring success. And I just want to kind of go back to that. Being in this industry for as long as I've been in this industry, I know that sometimes the new fad or new hip cool diet is the thing to do. And I'm on Facebook and there's a huge group that's doing keto right now that I'm in, and but here's the key. If you choose a path or a plan and you stick with it, it doesn't matter what routine you're doing, okay? I'm going to be completely dead serious here. And I know some people might disagree with that. And I can have very educated conversations and disagreements with a lot of people about this because everybody's got an opinion. But I'm going to tell you, the key is to choose a plan and stick with it. Okay? So this is where it gets a little tricky though. During the stick with it period, okay? This is when life tempts you to lose your focus and you get lazy and you go back to your previous habits. So even with the best intentions, sometimes it's not going to help you, okay? But what I do have that's going to help you is a list of what I call best transformation tips, okay? And this comes directly from people who have done it. When you've been in the industry as long as I have, you get to see and meet and actually get to experience those people going through these transformations, okay? And what I've done is I've kind of put together these tips for people who have lost 50 pounds or more, or even half their body weight. Okay, so these are just some of the tips coming directly. So the first one is fat loss is 80% mental and 20% physical. Okay? If you want to succeed, you've got to get your mind right. Now, is the nutrition part important? Absolutely. But the mental side is clearly one of the most important parts. Okay? The next one, focus on non-scale victories, like how your clothes fit or how you feel and how much healthier you are. We have a tendency to let that scale dictate. So we get outcome based. And when we don't see the outcome we want, we get discouraged. We stop doing it. Focus on behavior and habits. Fix what's going on inside you before you attempt to fix what's going on outside. Again, I'm going to go back to this. The mind is a powerful part of your transformation. I think it's one of the most important parts, okay? Now, don't stress as much on what you're eating. Let me rephrase that. Don't stress as much as what you are eating, but instead on how much you are eating, and keep the calories under control. So let's just stop there for a second and let's just talk about, these different types of diets and stuff and what happens when you put yourself on one of these plans. You typically get where you're reducing the amount of calories you take in because it's telling you, okay, you need to take in this many carbohydrates or this much fat or whatever. So you're actually getting caloric restriction, which is going to end up in weight reduction. Simple as that. So that's why every single one of these diets will work if you stick with it, if you continue to keep the discipline. So I can tell you that you could try any diet, and more than likely at some point you're going to see some results. All right, so let's get back to the tips though. So find a workout routine that you won't be bored with, so you'll stick with it. So now we're going to go into the physical side of it. And it's the same thing. Now, you can say that high intensity interval training will probably get you more results. And I probably would somewhat more than less agree with you because of the epoch and the afterburn that you get from getting your heart rate up in those zones. But if you find a routine or if you do any sort of exercise routine, you stick with it and you keep doing it long enough, you're going to see results. Again, stick with it. And so when you stick with your workout plan, no matter how tired you're feeling that day, if you just push through and you do something, the motions that you're doing are going to help you get more energy. Okay? So even if you're not feeling good, if you can get there and do it, you're going to get to the point where you're going to realize that the exercise made you feel better that day. Now, don't be afraid to make healthy changes, okay? You have nothing to lose and so much to gain. And so that's where that lifestyle stuff comes into play, okay? Making lifestyle changes like drinking water 64 ounces a day, sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day, getting up and actually moving 20 to 30 minutes a day. Those type of things over the long term are going to make significant changes. Again, it's a long term. Now, as far as eating, you can use a slow cooker to have healthy meals on hand to avoid unhealthy meals. All right? I know that we are busy people, and that sometimes is the problem. It's easier to just go out and eat. When we go out and eat, we're tempted. We eat things that we shouldn't eat. So people who see transformations, they plan ahead. What do? A lot of times they use slow cooker type recipes because they know that they don't have much time to cook. They cook it throughout the day while they're at work. They come home, meal's already prepared and prepped and done. All they have to do is sit down and eat. All right? Again, if you're looking for any sort of recipes, I've got some of those that I can get you. But at the end, we'll also have something for you that will help as well. Now, with technology, you can use an app to help keep you accountable. So you can go ahead and log your foods, log your workouts, log your water intake. Okay, this helps you stay on track when the days you even aren't feeling it. So like you can get push notifications, okay, that will just ask you, did you work out today, or did you, drink your water? Did you, get 8 hours of sleep? Okay, I use that with my clients. I have a coaching app that I'll use to help keep them accountable. Okay, back into some more of the nutrition side of it here. People who saw transformations that lasted, they ate a lot more vegetables and protein throughout the day to help increase their energy. Okay, and as a bonus, this also increases the speed of your results. So I'm going to jump back here and I'm going to say find a plan and stick with it. Jumping from diet to diet never works in the long run. Okay, so if you started something and it didn't work, and you started another something and it didn't work, and you started something else and it didn't work, again, in the long run, you're just going to keep getting that yo-yo. Stick with something that works for you and keep going. Over time, you're going to see the results. And the other thing is get creative. Get creative with your eating, your healthy eating, trying new recipes, okay? This helps prevent boredom. I'm somebody who can eat the same thing for lunch over and over, however, my wife is not. She needs variety. She likes to change. So if that's you, find something, some healthy recipes to change things up for you. The other thing is find an accountability partner, okay? This is where the real, what am I trying to say here? The magic is the accountability side. I'm telling you right now, this podcast is not the only podcast that is out there that gives health and fitness information. You have hundreds of magazines and books and Google searches, but the accountability side is something most people don't really seek out and have. They don't have somebody that's going to help them when they get tempted. Okay, again, that's why I go back to saying, with my clients, I have an app that I use that I help keep them accountable, depending on what they're working on, what habit. So get an accountability partner. And then the other thing that I feel that is really important is make these changes gradually, okay? We have a tendency to go all in and do everything all at once. People who I've seen that make huge transformations, and a lot of times I'll just ask them, what'd you do? And they just say, you know what? I worked out every day for the first 6 months. That's all I really did is I just worked out. It didn't change much. Then they started focusing on nutrition. Pick one or two things and focus in on that first. Then continue to make changes gradually. Okay? Pick a behavior, start that behavior, then add it another one. Maybe another 7 days later or 14 days later, whatever. If you master it, move on. Keep changing, but do it gradually. Okay? This one that I wrote down that I really think is key, and I'm going to give a quote to it as well, but don't give yourself the option of giving up. If you are tired of starting over, stop quitting, okay? Write that quote down. Put that somewhere if that's you. If you are tired of starting over, stop quitting. I have a client that hopefully I'm going to get on the show here soon. That's the quote that we gave her. That's the quote that she looks at, and she told me she loved it. She's, at this point, lost 20 pounds. So stop quitting if you're tired of starting over. So don't give yourself that option of giving up. Also, just to start wrapping this up here, I want you to remember that the best part of getting into shape or having a transformation, it's not necessarily the outward that happens. It's the improvement and self-confidence that comes with your entire life. All right, transformations, yes, physical is great, and there's a lot of obviously major important parts to that from a health standpoint, but you'd be surprised how much more your life will change. And the other thing, and the final thing here is don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? I've done a lot of things where I've done it on my own because I don't know, maybe that's just who I am, or maybe it's because I'm a guy. But um, the times where I realized that I did seek help, and I sought somebody that had been there and done that, and knew what they were doing, and I asked for their help, it made my life so much easier instead of me struggling, continuously going through the same motions, continuously seeing the same results, which weren't the results I wanted. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That can help you cut down the time period it's going to take you to see results. So those are some of the, the biggest and I think best tips. I wrote them down that I have seen throughout the years that people who have made major changes, that's what they do. Again, you can go pick up the latest crazy gimmick workout, diet plan, whatever. It might work. The keys are, though, is back to what I wrote, what I gave you here today in this podcast, is sticking with it, not giving up, asking for help when you need it, taking, one behavior at a time. Those are the things, focusing on small victories, not outcomes that, like, how much the scale dropped. Those are the things you need to focus in on if you want to see transformations that can change your life. So I wanted to go ahead and just put that out there because, one of the things I like to do is I like to inspire people because I think that that's one of my superpowers. So I hope you found this podcast, this episode, worth your while, worth your time. Hope it inspires you to make a change and transformation. Again, if you need any help, I'm here for you. And for those of you that stuck around, I wanted to go ahead and just get you started to help you. It's a 7-day jumpstart challenge program, whatever you want to call it. So if you went to www.fitover40challenge.com/7day, you will find it. It's free. Go ahead, opt in, download it, print it off, and go ahead and start it right away and get yourself into that transformation. I want you to be one of the success stories and people I talk about on this show one day. I want to bring you on. So with that, hope you go out and make it a great day. This is Coach Dave signing off.